Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Serapatame. I'm Lindy, and today I wanted to talk to everyone about a few things, actually. I did want to explain my process and how I make my videos, and also go through the transition that Earth and all its inhabitants are going through at this time, transitioning densities. So I'm going to explain the difference, what third density is, and then what fourth density is. And so you'll understand the transition that Earth is going through right now. And I'm also going to touch on a couple other aspects of just where we're at right now, and some other important things to keep in mind. So first I'll explain my process of how I make my videos, so you guys understand what happens, or what goes on behind the scenes, and yeah. So I actually have a process of going into meditation and asking for guidance as far as what I should make my videos on. So sometimes I set that intention for my meditation and just see what comes forward from my guides and my higher self, and from source. And then I use that information to make my videos. Of course, I have outside influences as well. I do have people in the spiritual community that I follow on YouTube, or have shows. I read spiritual books, and just lots of outside influences, which is just really important to support yourself in that way, and surround yourself with like-minded people. So yeah, but it is authentic what I decide to make my videos on. Okay, so that's my process. So let's get into the densities, because this is a really interesting topic, and I've noticed that a lot of people get confused about the densities, and also confused about the dimensions. So right now the Earth is in third density. So let me give you a little bit of background on what the lower densities are as well. So when we're talking about densities, it's basically talking about consciousness, and the different levels of consciousness. Okay? So first density would be minerals and rocks, Earth, basically. And yeah, Earth. Okay? And then in second density, you can put plants and animals in second density. And what defines second density is basically, it is like a hive or a herd mentality. The organisms or the beings are sentient beings, which means they do have feelings and think, but they don't really think for themselves like human beings do in third density. So like, let's say a wolf pack, theories that actually a wolf pack, they function as an entire pack, so they don't look at themselves as individuals. And there are theories that actually animals like that actually share the same soul. So they're all pieces of the soul, and they just kind of function and think and feel as one. So not individually. They don't think and function individually. And most animals can actually be put in the second density category, unless they are pets. Not all pets, but a lot of pets actually evolve into third density, because since they are just living with humans, they tend to start developing an ego or developing individuality and thinking of themselves as individuals, which is very different than second density. So now we're getting into third density. In third density, you have a sense of self, and you see yourself as an individual rather than part of a collective. Of course, you are part of the collective still, but you have an ego, which is what separates us from animals and plants. Human beings are in third density right now on Earth. But it's important to talk about this because maybe some of you out there may not know or completely understand that we, as a collective human race, are actually moving into fourth density right now. So this is a really exciting time. And this has been happening since around 2011, 2012 is when human beings on this planet started transitioning from third density into fourth density. Fourth density is actually more of a heart energy, and third density is more of a mind energy. So third density is really where you start to decide what path you're choosing to go down. And this has a lot to do with free will, of course, because we have the free will to decide and to make that decision if we are going to go down a path of service to self or service to others. And that's why free will is so important, because it's very important that we have the freedom and the power to choose this for ourselves. And then once we transition fully into fourth density, you will find that you've kind of made your decision at that point what path you are going to be on, if it's service to self or if it is service to others. Also, you find right now, since this transition just started not too long ago, just a few years ago, and we're moving more into fourth density, you're finding that people are actually becoming more aware of heart energy, because the fourth density represents the energy, like I said, of the heart. So you're finding that people, in third density, people were really focused on the ego, the mind, and the brain, and finding out a lot of the science behind the brain. There are so many aspects of third density and also so many aspects of fourth density that separate the two and individualize the two. So I'm just talking now about like certain aspects, but there are so many more that I could cover. Like another aspect of third density is that a lot of people kind of they don't have quite a lot of sovereignty. They're looking outside of themselves towards preachers or rabbis, or even under other scientists or whatever for the answers and to communicate with the source or God or the creator. But now as we're transitioning into fourth density, people are getting their sovereignty, more sovereignty, and so they are realizing that they actually do not need something outside of themselves as a conduit to communicate with the creator. They're realizing that they can actually do that. They have all the power within themselves to do that. And people are starting to realize that we are actually not separate from God. We are a part of God. And so that is part of moving into a fourth density reality as well, is you start to realize that you are actually part of God and part of all creation. And we are like little drops of rain in the ocean. So we're part of it, and we're not separate. And fourth density, people do start to become more aware of the oneness of everything, that everything is connected, and these feelings of separation or being separate from God start to dwindle away. So our whole perspective on life and God and reality is starting to shift right now, which is very exciting, especially if you have chosen the path to be of service to others. Service to self, people just go more down that road of just being more in themselves. So maybe if you're on a service to self path, you are not going to really start seeing the oneness. I'm not sure. I don't feel that I'm on that path. I feel that I did make a decision without even realizing that that's what I was doing. I personally made a decision a few years back to be on more of a path of service to others. And then I started to figure a lot of this kind of stuff out and really changed my perspective on a lot. So it's just really exciting, and I do feel that it's really important for people like me who have a grasp on this transition that we're going through right now, to explain it and be supportive to others, because I feel like a lot also too is coming to a head as far as disclosure goes, and we're starting to find out a lot of these things that were kept secret for a really long time. So I also feel that fourth density that's part of it too, because when we fully transition into fourth density, it's going to be more transparent. So right now it's like we're trying to figure out the in-between of getting everything out on the table, if you will. Getting everything out on the table so we can look at that and digest it and then move forward into a new earth, basically. And why I also felt it was important to explain what fourth density is it's just important to understand how different fourth density is, that you actually do not feel so separate from your surroundings, from the earth or the planet that you're living on. You start to realize that you're actually part of this entire universe, that humans go so much more beyond just living here in this reality on this earth. So you start to really integrate the oneness, and that starts to become more apparent. And I actually know this and want to explain it to my viewers, whoever is watching this, because I do personally believe that in other lifetimes, so in other incarnations that I have actually lived in fourth density. And I have brought my density down so I could incarnate here to just start bringing in that higher vibrational energy into this earth right now, because it really needs that really bad. So some people, a lot of people right now, have incarnated right now at this time to do exactly that, to bring some of that higher vibrational energy into the world right now, because it really needs it, to just make it easier for humans to transition and progress, grow, and make progress. And by having people who have already gone through that here, it makes the transition a little bit easier. So yeah, and you know, it may sound like crazy talk to some people. I hope the viewers that are watching this right now really understand where I'm coming from, and understand what I'm trying to say. I'm basically saying that I'm a wanderer, and I plan on uploading some videos I have made that is called my Starseed series, and so I felt like it was really important first to explain the densities. So also too, I just want to get a little bit into other important aspects as we move into this transition. A lot of people, starting in around 2011, 2012, we're starting to go through this transition on a personal level. And you see it now, 2016, 2017, really playing out in the collective. And part of that transition for me is that I, back then, realized that a big thing that was hindering my growth and holding me back is I was not sober. Okay, so I was drinking alcohol. And I was drinking alcohol like more than anyone should. Okay? And I'm actually not really ashamed of that at this time, because I really took a look at that and I maintained sobriety for quite a while, and I did a lot of healing and inner work once I got sober. And sobriety is actually extremely important for this transition that we're going through. Now, I'm not saying like all substances are bad and like don't ever do any type of substance, but I am saying that alcohol in particular, and you could put other substances in this category with alcohol, but especially alcohol, that's what I know about, so that's what I'm going to speak about, is alcohol. It actually cuts you off from the source, so from God. It cuts you off, and so you're really not able to see clearly this kind of stuff I'm talking about. And I went through that, and then when I got sober and I had maintained sobriety for quite some time, then I started to get a lot of these questions answered. And that's why if it's important to you to build a spiritual practice, then it should also be important to you to try and maintain some level of sobriety, because it enhances a spiritual practice so much, and it takes it to like the next level. So I just wanted to share that with everyone out there and let you guys know that if you're really looking to boost your spiritual practice, boost your life, and really grow and accelerate your growth, sobriety can do that. It can really accelerate your spiritual growth. So I would recommend it to anyone. And yeah, so also too, through this transition that we're going through from third density to fourth density, it's also just important to understand that negative situations and will continue to happen, and we will continue to learn about new negative things that have been going on, that have been kept secret for a long time, because a lot of that stuff, it's like society purging that stuff, purging our society of those negative things, because we're ready to move forward. But before you can move forward, you can't just sweep things under the rug. You have to look at them and deal with them and face them head on. So a lot of that in the collective is actually coming out now. And it's really important how we respond to those types of situations. I know that like some people, you know, well, just to kind of bring this video to current, you know, I live in the United States. I live in Colorado. And, of course, we had an election back in November, and we have a new president. Okay? And around this time, a lot of people were feeling divided, you know, because there's a lot of different, like, aspects to that whole thing. I myself am not, like, super into politics, but I am aware of a lot of these really bad things that are coming out in the open. Yeah. So it's just really important how we respond, like I said. And, you know, I have friends that have, like, very different viewpoints than I do. And I had a very positive experience, actually, the other day, where, you know, in the past, maybe it was something that would have been negative, where me and my friend, since we did not see eye to eye on certain things as to what is going on in our country right now, we don't see eye to eye on that, and, you know, it could have ended very badly. But I took that opportunity, actually, to just, like, very, very calmly explain to her in more of, like, a spiritual way, my perspective, and why I feel it's so important to not just, like, focus on all the issues and how we're not making progress with our current president, and how actually, like, who the president is not as important as just, like, all the people in the country are. It is so important how we respond as members of this country. It's so important to come together. It's so important to come together. And so even if you have, like, a difference in opinion with your friends or with people you know, it's so important to embrace the diversity right now. Just embrace the diversity and let them know that you accept them and you love them, because I think that this time right now is a lot about that too, just embracing diversity and embracing our different viewpoints. And hopefully, I mean, you're in a space now, if you have done your work, if you have done your healing and your personal work and really worked on yourself and what's inside, then you will actually be able to help others and just really not take it personally if they have a difference in opinion than you, and just really come together and find ways to help others and in this time right now. So it's really a time of overcoming adversity together and really coming together, and that's like what this time is about. So yeah, I just feel that it's really important to stay positive and to see past all the little tiny differences that people have, because really we're all not that different. And it's really important to just, like, embrace everyone and accept people for where they're at. And if you're not capable of doing that, then it's really important that you work on yourself, because that is what is going to allow you the capacity to accept other people for who they are and work with them and come together with others. So, and that's what this time is about. So, with all of that being said, I will actually, I do plan on releasing videos coming up here about my starseed journey and disclosing that, because it's really important that we start disclosing these personal experiences and sharing them, and then in turn, hopefully, our government and the powers that be or were or whatever will start to, that kind of stuff will start to surface as well, when we will start to get disclosure. But until we start disclosing our personal stories, then, you know, we can't expect that to happen on a collective scale. So that is really why I want to share my starseed stories with everyone, with the public, and go public about it, is because I think it's really important to just not live in secrecy anymore and not be afraid that people will, think I'm crazy. Like, it's really a time to see our cosmic connections and understand that we are all connected, not just to this earth and to this race of beings. We are connected to the entire universe. So anyway, with that, I am like really rambling and this video is going really long, so I'll let you guys go for now. But bless you, bless your journey, and until next time, I love every single one of you, and please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to watch more of my videos. And have a blessed day. Bye!